Going back to the draft during the summer league, could you have imagined you'd be sitting here talking about Norm as a big part of the rotation in the playoffs?
No, to be honest, I don't think anybody would. I don't think, anybody would. And even with DeLon, after we got Corey, that kind of, hurt his, as far as his spot in the rotation a little bit. But both those young men have really developed and come along faster than we thought. I think the D-League situation and then Norm's work ethic, he works as hard as anybody every day. This past summer, he worked hard. The entire summer. The summer league really helped him, but again, his experience at the D-League, and then he stepped in and did his job. He took advantage of the opportunity, unfortunate opportunities I call it, with Damari going down. He took advantage of it and did a great job, and not a good job, a great job, and to where now we're talking about, Ryan was talking about the rotation. The guy's going to be a big part of what we do.
Mm-hmm. Has he changed, Norm, changed the way you look at him, even in the last 10, 12 games?
Yeah, I remember I made a statement about his offense being gravy. It shows you how dumb I am. But it still is gravy. He's still a defensive player. I think that takes some pressure off his ability to score, because now he's shooting it with ease. He's scoring with ease. Some of it, he's getting the third defender on him. The best two defenders on Kyle and DeMar. Last night he found out early, okay, now I got the top guy on me now, so it's a little bit tougher until he got into the rhythm of the game. But I think he's gotten the respect from his teammates, from the coaching staff, and I know from the rest of the league.
The other night you mentioned that you feel like the team this year, obviously it's better defensively, but you said you feel like it has more grit. When you get into the postseason, how important does that become?
We'll find out. We'll find out as far as, that's what the playoffs is about. It's a man's game. That's the difference, is the toughness and playing through that, in that for a series of games. And each game is going to be different. Some games the officials going to let it go. Some nights the officials will call it a little tighter. And that's where we have to make the adjustments and not let frustration set in from that standpoint. But again, I think we're better suited mentally, physically. We've played a style of basketball defensively that is conducive to playoff basketball, and offensively we're better suited. I feel like with another ball handling Corey, now another score in Norm, another score in Damari for playoffs.
How different is Kyle at this stage of the season than he was at this stage of last year?
Well, he was nicked up last year. He had calf strains. He was nicked up. He had missed all the time trying to get well, get his body physically well, getting through those nicks. And I say physically, people take that as being in shape. No, he's had strains. He had bruises, soreness, and all that stuff. This year, he hasn't had that, and he's resting just out of rest, but not because of an injury. And he was trying to come back in the playoffs last year after being nicked up and coming back in. So totally different approach. He's at a different place right now. His confidence level is a lot higher. He's not coming back, seeing whether his body, can respond to coming back playing the way he did. So I remember coming back after the Charlotte game, him trying to come back in just to see how his body felt or his legs felt. So he's at a different place now, and he's playing at a higher level and with his confidence level. Excuse me.
Dwane, the last couple of years, Game 1 has been problematic.
Right.
And, you talked about the young guys being tight yesterday. It felt like the team was tight in Game 1. How much better prepared mentally with the experience, better equipped do you feel that your guys are for Game 1 at home? Because as much as everybody talks about, home court advantage, Game 1
That's a good
at home,
point.
if you drop that one, all of a sudden you've given it up.
Well, I don't know if that's the tightness you feel. I think everybody feels that way. You lose a game at home, you feel that tightness, whether it's Game 1 or Game 2. But I think our crowd is so intense, so there's so much about, being excited about being in the playoffs, the crowd, Jurassic Park. The players feel that. They show it, human nature sets in, and I think the experience of the past couple of years of guys have seen it now. That may be something new that the young guys may see and feel, and hopefully they don't. And that's where a guy like Norm, playing at UCLA, playing in big games, playing in the Pac-10 tournament, and Dwane, those young guys have played in big situations, have seen it. Corey's been in the NBA Finals. So those guys have been in those moments, and our guys are coming back, have seen that game one situation, to take some of that pressure off of being at home.
Do you have the same expectations for Damari that you had coming into the year, or is it different because he's coming off of the injury?
Well, no. Again, he's coming off of injuries. That's an issue. But his job is still, number one, take the top offensive player on the other team and do his job, because he's one of the best in the league, and that's why we signed him. So, no, the expectations haven't changed as far as his job responsibility or his job description.
Did you meet with Bazai this morning about a contract extension?
No. We had conversation. We've been having conversations, throughout the last few weeks as far as the situation. Everything's fine. Everything's cool. We've got things figured out, and we'll talk about that at the right time. But again, I've never felt like this year I was coaching for my job. If I was, I didn't know it. And, could care less, because I'm going to coach the same way. I'm going to be the same person, teach the same way, coach the same way, no matter what. But everything is worked out. Messiah and I have talked and met and got everything ironed out. So we'll talk about it at the right time.
Is it comforting, though, to know that you're not coaching for your job?
It's always comfortable to know that you're not play doing that. But again, I don't go out and coach thinking, oh, if we lose this game, I'm going to lose my job. I've never done that. Never done that, whether it was here or at Minnesota or assistant coach. Hell, we thought we was going to lose our job every day in Dallas with Cuban, so with Mark, their first couple of years. And so, again, but Rick Carlisle never did. I never did as an assistant. Never stopped to think about that. And you can as an NBA coach, because that's part of the job description. You're talking about job description, is you're hired to someday. You're not going to be there forever unless your name starts with a P and first name is Greg.
Is there more pressure going into these playoffs because those 2 first-round losses to prove that this is a team that can go for it?
No, again, we can't look at it that way. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as a challenge. Pressure, I looked at believe it or not, last night's game was as much pressure as the night before that. I look at every game, every possession. If you've been around me enough to see, I take every possession seriously. And that way, when you do get into the playoff situations, there's nothing new. I'm not going to change. And so the players shouldn't change. They shouldn't feel the difference. They should take it as a challenge, should take it as motivation to prove to everybody that, we can advance, and we will. We'll take that as a challenge. Because, again, evidently, somebody doesn't respect us. We've got all these 12, 30 games, and, you still don't look at us as the team of the north of the border that plays the early games when people out west are still asleep. So, we'll use that as a little motivation too.
Is that a feeling as a team as a whole that maybe that this team is kind of not respected around?
Well, I said that all year, that we have to we have to earn, and we have done that throughout the year, and we got to continue to do it throughout the playoffs to earn the respect of the league, to prove that we are who we are and our record is who we are. So we have to use that as motivation, because thinking the other way doesn't work too well. But evidently somebody doesn't feel like that we're deserving of that primetime spot, and we have to use that as motivation.